Hi there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. Today I'm going to show you how I made this Bon Voyage birthday card for my daughter Lila, and she absolutely loved it. We're going to start off with a sheet of 8.5 inch by 11 heavyweight cardstock, and I'm going to score this at 4 inches and at 8 inches, and this is going to give me a 4 inch by 8.5 inch card with a pocket. If you didn't want to do a card with a pocket on the inside, then you could just trim off that extra piece and use that for your decorating panel that goes in the front. But I wanted to have a card that you could either put tickets or gift certificates or cash in for a birthday card, so you can adapt it to your needs. The tool I'm using here is a Score Pal, which is a scoring board with grooves, and I like this for scoring paper because it gives you a really nice finish. And it's not a cheap tool, but I've been using this for over a decade and it is still in perfect condition, perfect working order. I know they make different companies make versions of this, but the Score Pal is the original and that's the one I recommend. And it comes with a little scoring tool. Now we're going to decorate the panel that I had cut to go on the front of that card, and I basically cut it a 1/2 inch smaller than the size of the card so that it'll give me a 1/4 inch border. And I'm using this stamp mount. This is called a Mega Mount, and I don't think they make it anymore, but any large stamp mount is going to work just fine. And I'm using red and blue ink because I want this to have kind of a British flair to it. And this stamp is by Technique Junkies. Technique Junkies will be closing at the end of the year because the owner is retiring. So if there's any stamps that you want from them, I would grab them while they're still around. And that will give them a nice start off to their retirement too, which is kind of nice. I'm going to stamp the Union Jack again in navy ink, and I'm not worried about perfect stamping. I just want to get this kind of texture and a hint of Britain in the card. So don't worry about some messy stamping on these first layers of your background. Now you can ink the stamp up with 2 different colors like I did for this tag. I just used my mini Memento ink pads for this, and that's a really great way to get a little more mileage out of this stamp. So think about that when you are stamping. How many different ways can I use this? And that can help you to decide whether a stamp is worthy of adding to your stash or not. Now, like I said, I just wanted to have a hint of this British theme here, and I wanted to have some other textures too. So I'm going to stamp on top of this with one of my favorite background stamps. It's this big flourish from Impression Obsession, and that's going to mute down the whole pattern and give it just an overall grungy feel. Something I like to say about art and stamping and anything visual is that if you don't like it, you're not done yet. So I decided to go with an opaque ink, the Distress Oxide ink, and stamp some text all over the back as well. And this will stand out a little bit on top of the regular Distress inks I used previously, and it just gives it a little extra interest. A nice thing about Distress Oxide and Distress inks is that they reactivate with water. So I'm flicking on some clean water onto the background, and then I'll let it set and blot it up, and we'll get kind of like a bleach spot effect here and there. Again, just another way to add grungy texture. You don't have to do it if you don't like it, but I think it looks kind of special. To stamp the focal points, I am using brown archival ink, and that's a waterproof ink that I know I can use water-based markers or inks on to color it and not have it smudge. And I thought these images from Stampin' Up! That I've had for ages would be perfect for a British-themed card. I plan to die cut these out, so I just used my square die as a guide to rough cut these apart. And I want to color them before I die cut them because I know it will give me a neater look, and that way I'm not going to have to hold on to the image while I color it. I can hold on to the edge. And now I'm going to use my ink pads and these unfortunate looking brushes to color my images. And I did cut the strings off of all of these brushes after I filmed this video because they were getting in the way and, quite frankly, not the aesthetic I'm going for. If you know, you know. Sticky notes make this coloring super easy. I'm putting one down horizontally to divide the sky and the ground area, and then I'm going to mask the phone booth here on the fly with another sticky note. I am going to use a little brush here and some navy blue ink, the same color I used in the background, and I'm just giving it a rouge of color. You're going to notice that when you use a brush to apply ink, it is much less concentrated than when you stamp with that ink, so it's going to give you a subtle effect, even though the colors are pretty bright. Then I just replace the Post-it note over the sky area, and I can go ahead and mask the ground. Again, masking on the fly where needed for the phone booth there. So the other benefit to this really quick and easy technique is that if you're using a dark ink for your subject, this is going to look like kind of a tinted photo as long as you use a translucent ink on top. So the Distress inks are really great for this technique, the regular original Distress inks, because they blend really well and they're very transparent. So it allows your stamping lines to show through. You could also color this with any marker. It's totally up to you. It's, use what you have to get the look that you want. And I think that looks really nice. And here you can kind of see how it's going to cut out. I like to line up my dies just to make sure that I have added my ink all the way to the edges and I'm not going to have any uncolored spots. Now, if you have a big area that you don't need to color around anything, you can use a larger brush. This is just a large brush from Craft Stash. I know different companies make them. You may have some in your stash. And those makeup looking brushes with the handles also work well for this. So again, use what you have. And another budget thing I like to use for this type of coloring would be the cosmetic sponges you can find at your big box stores or sometimes the dollar stores. I have a video on how I made my own ink daubers. And then again, there's the classic distress ink daubers that you can buy from Ranger that work great for this. And anytime you're using any of those ink blending tools, I recommend just saving a sponge for each color family. And that way, not cleaning in between, you can just keep using it over and over again, and that way you don't waste anything. And here I toured the Post-it note so I could have kind of like a sky and a hill, and I'm just using the waist part of the Post-it note to line up and mask off the ground there. And it's just another great way to do some quick and easy coloring without having a super straight line if you want a more organic look. So, you know, these are simple products. You probably have them. You can even use scrap paper if you don't have Post-it notes. And then to give this a little bit more depth, I'm using the smaller ink brush and some of that navy ink to add some shading under my objects here. And I think it's a little step, but I think it adds so much. Now, after I have these colored to my liking, I'm just going to die cut them out. I'm going to use the straight edge dies, and these are from my collection with Craft Stash. I'm using the straight edge square and rectangle to cut out the focal points, and then I'm just going to cut out a matting layer using the layering postage stamp die that is also available in that kit. But again, if you have decorative scissors or paper trimmer and you just want to use that to mat it, that's totally fine, and it's going to look beautiful. I adhered the stamped panels to the matting layer, and now I'm just kind of fussing things around and seeing where I want stuff to go on my card. I did adhere the Union Jack panel to the card base as well. I found that little sticker that had some like an old letter text, and I thought that would work with this, and so I stuck that down, and now I'm just adhering down these little panels. I have some old game pieces of airplanes and playing cards and stuff like that, so I thought I would just grab those out. I thought they might make nice embellishments for this project. I also have some postage stamp washi tape and some little cancellation mark stamps that I thought would embellish really nicely. And it's just a process of kind of moving things around until I'm happy with it. And like I said before, if you don't like it, you're not done yet. So just keep on tweaking and adding and moving until you like how everything looks. Once I had the flat pieces down, then I did some stamping before I put my embellishments down. I have this happy birthday postage cancellation mark, I guess, from Stampin' Up from ages ago. So I stamped that down with black archival ink, and then I'm stamping this cancellation that's from my collection with Craft Stash. And I also have a bunch of old postmarks that I'm not sure what company they came from because I mounted them on Jenga blocks when I got them. So I don't recall, but they're all kind of basic airmail, carte postale, cancellations that you might see on vintage letters and whatnot. So I kind of filled the space with those, and then I glued down an airplane from an old board game that I thought made a really nice accent. Moving on to the inside of the card, I've opened up the card and put some adhesive down. So I'm just working on the panel that is going to fold up and make the pocket. And I've got some book pages that I've cut down, and I am just adhering them across the kind of pocket flap there. And this is just going to give us like a little pattern paper. I find the older I get, the more into this hobby, the less I want to use pre-made pattern paper, the more I like to use my gel prints or use book pages, just use stuff that I've lying around. I have not bought pattern paper in quite a long time, and the paper that I bought was just to replace one of my favorite patterns. This is an old wheel stamp by Stampin' Up. I feel like this is an ad for Stampin' Up, but hey, if you got stuff that you bought, you paid good money for, that you really thought about, those are the things you're going to keep in your stash and use over and over again. And that tends to be stuff that I bought during, Stampin' Up parties I went to, because they were expensive. So I really thought about those items, and they stay in my stash and they get used over and over again. So that's what I'm always saying about buying things you like and not things that are just trendy, because after the trend's gone, you're still going to like the products. But if you buy it just because it's a trend, when the trend's done, you're probably not going to like it that much. So buy what you really like regardless of if it's in style or what. So I trimmed off the excess of that paper, and now I'm putting a little bit of double-sided tape on each edge, and that's going to make our pocket when we fold it close. And we're going to get a really nice, neat look because we scored all of our lines, and yeah, that's why I recommend using a scoring board or even just a ruler and a bone folder so you get a really nice crisp line. I also wanted to use some map paper. I thought that would look really nice. And this is from a 4x6 pad, so it is pattern paper. I do like those 4x6 matte stacks. They're actually 4.5 by 6.5. If you can find them, I don't even know if they make them that much anymore, but I have some from back in the day. And I find that motifs like maps, very generic patterns work really well, and you don't tend to get rid of them because they appear dated. I don't know how many pads of paper I've purchased in the past. Ooh, that's like an alliteration. That I've ended up destashing because the trend, they're just too trendy, too dated looking. But in vintage map, that's never going to look trendy or dated. It may look dated because it's vintage, but it's not going to be dated in a bad way, like, you know, like something out of fashion. It's going to look vintage, which is dated in a good way, in my opinion. Obviously, if you don't like that vintage vibe, don't buy it just because I'm using it. Buy it if it's something you're going to use, or collect old maps. I know a lot of times your tourist places or visitor centers will have maps of a location that you've been on vacation, and maybe you grab a map and maybe you use it in a scrapbook, maybe you don't. And if you're not going to use it in a scrapbook, use it for your card making. Now, keep in mind, if it's a real ephemera, like a map from a visitor center, it may be acidic, but if you're using it in a card that's not going to be kept for a million years, then what's the harm in using it for that? I'm adding another border here. I'm just overlapping stuff, and I'm using washi tape, and this is just kind of like an airmail postage style washi tape, so keeping with the theme. I have to say, I have 2 drawers full of washi tape. They're kind of a guilty pleasure, but they are so easy to add. They're, you know, you don't need to glue it down like you would ribbon, but you get that nice flat border element, which I think is so nice in card making. And yeah, maybe it's just an excuse to hoard washi tape. I don't know. But I do like to layer it up on these border designs. And sometimes I spend as much time decorating the inside of the envelope as the outside, I swear. I felt like it needed more, so I'm going to stamp another border. This time I'm going to use the bunting stamp from Rubber Stamp Tapestry. Now, unfortunately, they have gone out of business, but I know how much you guys love it when I grab the peg stamp. So we're going to use that. It's a perfect little accent. I'm going to start by stamping with the kind of navy blue ink and just kind of spacing it out, eyeballing it so that I'll be able to fill in with red in between. Now, the thing I love about just eyeballing it and stamping freehand is that with a bunting like this, you're going to get a little movement in it. It'll almost look like the flags are blowing in the breeze. So I love that. I love that non-perfect look. It looks handmade. That's what I want it to look like because it is. And here you can see that I think that really added a lot. We needed a little more color there. That gave it. And here you can see our little pocket. And yeah, that's perfect for any ticket or cash or gift certificate you wanted to give. Now let's make a matching envelope. I'm just using some travel themed paper that I have in my stash and a envelope template that I have in my stash. Now both are discontinued, so you can open up a envelope that you have or just use a regular number 10 envelope from the store if you want to. But if you want to make a template, just open up an envelope, steam it open, and save it and trace it on your paper. And then it does help if you have a piece of cardboard or something you can fold against, like this Green Sneakers template has. I love these templates. I wish they were still available, but they're not. Maybe you can find them on eBay or something, and this is how you use them in case you have a set in your stash or you buy some and there's no instructions. And I do like to trim out these little corner pieces because it does make for a bulky envelope if you don't, especially if you're using cardstock. Now, if you're using cardstock and you want to put it in the mail, then I would recommend making the envelope inside out so that you would have the white on the outside and the pattern on the inside, and then you won't have, it'll be easy to write an address on it and the mail machines won't get confused by it. And then simply just glue up the sides and you are good to go. I wanted to add one more touch to the inside of the card, so I'm going to take that last panel that didn't get added to the front of the card and just glue it in the upper left-hand corner here of the top flap. And there I've got plenty of room to write on the right-hand side of there for the heartfelt message, and then I've got room for the gift in the pocket underneath. I'm going to add a little bit of washi tape to decorate that, and really that's all there is to it. I hope this gives you some ideas next time you want to give some cash or tickets or a gift to someone, and I hope it inspires you to use your stash. Like I said, a lot of the things I used in this card are discontinued, but that's all right. You can use your supplies and the theme that you have in mind, your favorite colors, and make a card that's truly you and designed for your recipient in mind. Thank you so much for watching. Please share this video with someone who would enjoy a card making video. Give it a thumbs up before you go. And until next time, happy crafting.